Simon, I guess, was the pull of playing in the SPL just too good to resist?
I think so. I think as a player, anywhere you play, you want to be, whether it's England or Scotland, you want to be playing the top of the division. And I think obviously SPL was that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Had circumstances been so different, you could have still been playing the SPL, but with St Johnstone, would that have influenced your decision in any way had St Johnstone gone up?
Of course. I think obviously, I was settled at the club, and it's something, that, to be honest, you'll never know. But like I said, I'm more than happy to be at Motherwell. Like I said, it's SPL football, and I want to be a part of taking Motherwell forward.
We'll look at your career that lies ahead at Motherwell in a minute, but first, what sort of St Johnstone team do you think you're leaving behind? Do you think Owen Coyle can bring them up to the SPL?
Without a doubt. I think he's 2 years that he's been in management at St Johnstone. I think we've done really well there in the past, and I think it definitely takes St Johnstone forward, and I can see St Johnstone get promoted next season, especially with the squad that they've got there now.
What did you say to Owen when you were telling him you were coming here? What was the chat like?
It was hard, to be honest, because I get on so well with Owen Coyle, and I've enjoyed my time at St Johnstone, and to be honest, it was hard, but you could totally understand it. That as a player you want to be playing the highest division, and that's the situation, and you totally understood that. And so like I said, it was hard, but it had to be done.
Footballers or managers tend to speak to people who've been at that club previously.
Yep.
Owen was clearly at that club, but I suppose it's not something you could say to him, well, what can I be going to if I do go here, or how do it go?
Well, not at the moment. I mean, like I said, I've been speaking to him constantly over the summer, and obviously even after I did tell him, he spoke to me a few days later and just said, go and do, go and show what you can do, and he was giving me advice on that. So like I said, I'll have no hesitations of picking up the phone and speaking to him again about advice or whatever.
Obviously the manager was unveiled here yesterday. Just tell us how the deal came about. When was it agreed? Who was it agreed with?
Well, I mean, I'd been speaking to Motherwell and numerous clubs come the end of the season, and I had a meeting with Malpass with obviously the previous manager, and it went well, and then obviously circumstances changed, and I was quickly contacted, obviously by people at Motherwell saying that we still wanted to come to the club, and which was obviously good to hear, and obviously Scott Leach got appointed, and I spoke to him a couple of times, and got the deal done and dusted on the Saturday.
Any reservations or concerns that the manager who is in charge is not the guy who signed you?
I don't think so. I mean, like I said, I was speaking to Malpass before. When I actually signed, obviously Scott Leach was actually the caretaker boss at the time, and with the plan obviously that McGee would be coming in, the new gaffer. So like I said, obviously no reservations whatsoever. It's Motherwell SPL Football Club, and that's where I want to be playing at.
And what's your chat been like with the new manager?
Oh, it's been good. Like I said, the first time I spoke to him today, and obviously we were just having a chat. Where he wants to take the club forward, and how he's going to do that, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Simon Mensing, the first of many?
First of a few, I hope. I mean, I think that I'm not sure we can afford many. We want to get quality, so we don't want to spread it too thinly. But he's a player that has been described to me as fits the mould of what I would be wanting. So I'm quite happy to make him my first signing. Of course, I would have had the veto if I, wanted to say to the chairman that that I don't want to sign this player because I haven't seen him. Then I could have done. But I had that within my right as an incoming manager. But I felt that having heard what I've heard about him, that he's a player that we should sign.
What was the mechanics of how the deal came about? Presumably it was under Scott that agreement was reached, is that right?
Well, it was under Scott and Stuart Robertson, obviously discussing it with Simon and with his representatives that brought it to this. So that all came before me, but that's fine because it's an easy job for me to walk in, shake the boy's hand and make him welcome.
Presumably there are other players that the coaching staff will have looked at prior to your arrival. Would you be willing to go for these players as well?
Well, I'd be willing to consider it, because I made no secret, I didn't hide from the fact that their intimate knowledge of the Scottish game is better than mine at this moment in time. I expect to catch them up very quickly, but when they mention certain players, I have an impression of some some I've never seen, and some I know. So, depending on what level of knowledge I have about players, I can make a judgment. So therefore I have to in some cases rely on them, and that's fine. I think that I'm quite prepared to do that.
And staff-wise, will it be evolution rather than revolution?
I think a little bit of revolution's required, and that's not any criticism of previous regimes. I just think that, as a new manager, I have an opportunity. So first of all, people that are already here, players that are already here, are going to have to prove to me that they've got a right to be part of the future here. And those that do will be, and those that don't will be asked to move on. The new ones that we bring in, we've got to make sure are quality that improve the squad, and we've got to offer the supporters. Revolutions may be strong, but we've got to offer them something new, something fresh, something that wants them to buy season tickets, and something that wants them to come here and enjoy games. And it's not supposed to be a punishment coming to watch your team. It's supposed to be a money well invested. So we've got to bring a product on the football field that makes them feel as if they get value for money.
And the players that you will bring on board, is this to kind of balance, because Motherwell historically, certainly in the last 5-10 years, has depended a lot on youth. Are you looking to strike a balance between the youth that you have and bring experience in?
Well, experience can be expensive, so we don't have a huge amount of money, but we've got to use our money well, and therefore I've got to sort of look to, I'll be looking in England at Premiership clubs, I'll be looking abroad at players that that need experience, as well as trying to find a player here and there that is experienced, that is of the quality and maybe at the time of his career that we can afford. Sure. So it's a little bit of both, but what we don't want to grow is just take players we can afford. They've got to be players that improve the team first and foremost, and then if we can afford them, we get them. If we can't, we can't.
How does Motherwell go forward from here? Does it need to make more kind of signings like this?
like this, he says. I don't know. You'll have to ask the manager that, but I just think as a team, and there's quality players here already. I think everyone can see that, and it's just getting off to a good start to the season, getting a good pre-season behind us, and winning. Obviously, getting off to a good start and winning a couple of games.
Chris, you've been linked with a few clubs over the last few weeks. When did you decide that Motherwell was the place to come?
Just recently. Came up and saw the manager, and I looked around the club and I liked what I saw, and the manager reflected well on me, and thought it was a fresh challenge, and I was excited about it, so that's when really.
Obviously you'll be familiar with Mark McGee down south. How big a factor did he play in this?
Yeah, he's been a manager a few places, Wolves and Leicester and that, so yeah, I'm glad that he's been down south and he knows what the English game's about as well, so I'm sure he can teach me a few new things as well.
Are you aware about the striking situation here at Fir Park in terms of the players that have left and the expectations that might be on your shoulders now?
Yeah, well, I don't know too much, but I know 2 strikers left in the last season, and they both did well. I think one went to Celtic, and so yeah, there's quite a bit of pressure, but hopefully I can handle it.
What can they expect from you? Are you a 20-25 goal a season man?
I hope so. I scored over 20 last year, so I hope to do the same again this time.
And what do you know about the SPL?
Not too much, to be honest, but I know most of the rules. I'm picking up more each day, so reading about it and things, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The split at the end of the season is a bit different to what I'm used to, but I'm sure I'll enjoy that as well.
Mark, first of all, how happy are you to bring a player of Chris's quality to Fir Park?
Well, extremely pleased. I mean, I think when I took the job and I spoke to the chairman about the finances, I realised there was a little bit of scope for me to try and bring in some players, which was pleasing, but I didn't really think we'd have the ability to bring a player that we hope Chris is going to turn out to be, so yeah, we're well pleased.
Is he of the quality of the strikers that have left the club recently?
Well, he's got to prove that. It's not for me to say that. I mean, I've not worked with the strikers over here, and I think it would be disparaging in a sense to them to say, without seeing Chris playing in a Motherwell shirt, that he is. But we hope that he can fill their boots and maybe go on from that. So that's what we can do, is we can try and fill the boots, and we think we've got a good one.
Were you aware all the time that you could get him through this loophole that you discovered?
I wasn't originally aware of the loophole. I was aware of Chris, and I was aware that he was a list of short list of strikers that I thought might be possible for us to get. And then I started to hear the sort of figures that they had been bandied around, that clubs had offered for him, and I thought it probably took him out of our league. So to find out that he was out of contract and he was able to come north for free was you know, a real surprise. I mean, what I do also have to say is, you know, we're saying it's for free. You know, there are things that have to be done, you know, to get a player like Chris here, you know. And the chairman, you know, John Boyle has backed me in that, and you know, I'm extremely pleased that at this initial stage he's done that.
Presumably you will not be expecting this to be your last transfer of the close season.
No, I'd be disappointed if it is. You know, we've got several offers of loan players which we're exploring. We've got several players coming with us to Austria on trial, which we're going to look at, and we've got one or two others that I'm waiting for calls from their agents and representatives with regards to permanent transfers.
With players that have left the club recently, the fans are looking for a striker to come in that can score 15-20 goals a season. Is Chris that man?
Well, I hope he's a striker that can score 20-25 goals, never mind 15-20. He could be that man. He's got the abilities. You know, he scored 40 odd goals in 100 games, you know, at his previous clubs. It's a good goal ratio, and I think I found historically that players that score goals, you know, and players that don't, you know, he scores goals. So if we get him the right sort of service, there's no reason why he shouldn't put the ball in the back of the net.